Hello and welcome to Podcast Heroes, episode 18. We have done it.
18.
We've gotten to the big 1-8, so 2 away from our number 20. Should we do something special for number 20?
I think big things are happening for 20.
We'll buy a cake, and if you're here, you can all have a slice.
There we go. So show up to our live stream and get some cake.
You should be there.
That'll be interesting. All right, we got a lot of really fun things to talk about today. The thing I'm most excited about is a talk about esports, because we kind of got some finalization on tournament results and things like that. Things we're going to be seeing in the next coming months, especially for Road to BlizzCon. So I'm really excited about that. Of course, we got our free week, an interesting free week. Not a big fan about it. We're going to be talking to
no
surprise.
yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, that's new.
And then we're going to be talking about Hero League, some gripe that's been going on with that, but also our progress so far in placement games. Because I think I'm the furthest in placement games. I only have 4 left, I think.
Yeah.
And then Aaron's next with 10-ish.
I have 8 left.
8 left, and then Bentley has 10 left. So we're getting there. Next week we'll all be placed, hopefully. And we'll be able to really get back into Watch Us Climb. But this week we're going to talk a little bit about our feelings in placement. But in the important news, though, Battlefield of Eternity has been removed from the rotation.
And to be honest, I didn't notice.
Yeah.
Until I read about it, I was like, oh, hey, I haven't been playing Battlefield of
It's
Eternity.
oh, yeah, that's my best battleground. Why haven't I been on it?
Exactly. A lot of the characters like Gazlo, Sylvanas that I'm really partial to playing, I haven't been playing because that map wasn't available.
So the reason it has been removed, my understanding is that there's a glitch that crashes the game, which, as you all know, if you've ever even disconnected for 5 seconds in any
that's
Heroes of the Storm game, it really sucks getting back in. I can't imagine having an entire team disconnect. That would really just be terrible.
I wonder if the game kept going, because if you leave a game and then you try to
have AI.
Exactly.
I wonder if AI. Ooh.
So was it just like a 5v5 AI game and they had to wait? I don't know.
Wouldn't that be interesting?
Yeah.
But excitingly enough, though, the new Battlefield is open. I forget the name of this one. What's
Infernal
it
Shrines.
Infernal Shrines.
Yes.
Bentley's played it.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
I played it on the PTR. I haven't played it since it's launched. I noticed. I think I heard a developer say that it didn't release with the patch immediately just because they were having issues balancing the Punishers.
Right.
Just because they run after the heroes and stuff, and I think they were overpowered. So I haven't played it.
Wow, go figure.
Yeah, right.
Something that they launched is overpowered.
Yeah, so I haven't played it since it's launched now, but I don't know. It was great when I played it in the PTR. It was the only map in the PTR, so I got to play a good amount of it.
That's true. Okay, so did you enjoy it though? Down to earth. Did you really enjoy it? Do you feel like are there any champions, any team comps that are particularly strong on it?
And I think we went over this a little bit, but it's a big map, so expect upwards of 25 to 30 minute games or more, possibly.
Really?
Yeah, it's a big map, and this will last a long time if it's a balanced team, of course. But I can see some steamrolling here and there, but it's all about objectives. And I know KT, Zagara, a lot of AoE damage, and people who can get an area secure will be really good on this map.
All right, well, that's a good news. And sorry, I am on my phone. I am trying to tweet out and Facebook out that we are streaming because I totally forgot to do that earlier. So I do apologize. I don't mean to be rude here.
Tell your friends we're streaming.
Yeah, tell your friends we're
Facebooked
streaming.
it.
Oh, okay, he Facebooked it, so I guess I just have to tweet it. Boom, tweeted. All
Boom.
right. And then I guess the other depressing news that I'm just don't really care about at all is the fact that the Money Pig is going away.
It's interesting because I really thought they were going to say the Goblin is going away because the Goblin seems so Diablo specific.
But when is the Battlefield of Eternity, or the Battlefield of Eternity, or whatever they're calling this campaign right now, when is that going away? Because I believe that is when the Treasure Goblin goes away.
Because people were saying that the whole Treasure Goblin, well, I guess you guys are talking about the mounts. But
the mount, yeah.
I don't think they've given an actual date on when the whole campaign of
Okay.
the Diablo campaign is going to end.
I guess they're kind of basing it off of when they're going to be releasing other heroes
It has
and
to
stuff
be.
like that. Or...
It would have to be a while because we still have to collect 50 treasure goblins for that portrait. So,
But I think those are ones you can collect multiple times in a day.
Yeah.
I think if you play 10 games and kill 10 goblins, you get 10.
Oh yeah.
You do.
So Yeah, I don't think that's anything that's limiting them. I don't think they're holding out for 50 days for that. I hope not, because I'm ready for this campaign to get over.
But
because I'm really excited for the new champions to come out.
Yeah.
But I do think that it'll probably be after September 21st.
Well, September 1st. You're thinking dates for
when does the pig go away?
The pig goes away September 1st.
Okay, well, I think it'll definitely be after September 1st, but that's obvious. That's 6 days.
6 days.
Oh.
We're almost into September.
August is done.
How crazy is
Man,
that?
do I need to buy this pig?
No.
I don't know, man. You won't be able to get it.
It poops money.
It poops money.
Wow.
I have no desire to get the pig personally. I'm happy with my wolf mounts. I'm happy with my,
Mechano
pony,
spider.
My Mechano spider.
Yeah.
I don't need something cheesy.
It doesn't look that cool.
It really doesn't. But let's talk about something that will look cool. And that's gender swapping heroes.
Ooh.
That's going to be really cool.
I'm really excited for it. They didn't specify what they were doing, but it was in you said a Reddit like AMA Q&A kind of thing.
Yeah. So on Reddit they had they just open up a form and they let people just submit questions on whatever they have about the game, and developers, I think a bunch of different developers from different sides of the game, because it'd be like the UI people would talk about it and they'd say we'll leave some of the questions out for the gameplay mechanics people. So it was just a bunch of different Blizzard staff, talking with the community.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But one of the things they did talk about was the fact that they might gender swap some heroes.
Yeah.
My curiosity is the examples they listed were like Diablo and Sonya, or the barbarian, if you will. They called her the barbarian. I'm wondering if they'll take only the heroes that are generic. So, like, I'm thinking, Nazeebo, Sonya, all the Diablo
not
champions.
just that they're generic, but in their natural game, they can be two genders.
Yeah, they don't have a name.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll allow those to gender swap, or if they will do it to everyone.
It's interesting because in Diablo 3, at the end of it, spoiler alert, you fight Diablo, and in Diablo 3, Diablo is a woman.
Spoilers.
Well, that's probably something that might be perpetuating this.
Yeah, and I know in the original Diablo, he was what we see now in HOTS.
Right. So
I think they're just going to kind of copy and paste a little bit from their previous games.
Yeah, because my curiosity is like, are they then going to take Jaina, Thrall, Kael'thas, those ones that are like have been and always have been the genders that they are right now in the games that they existed in? Will they gender swap them? Will they give us girl?
Yeah.
Vikings, like lost Viking girls,
and it's not a skin, right? Because it's going to be like a button for you to press, like male or female.
Yeah, I think it'll just be a flat gender swap. Because one of the things they said that's delaying the whole process is the voiceover, and the voiceover interactions. Obviously, you don't want to be playing a male barbarian and have Sonya's voice, even though you probably couldn't tell too much of a difference.
Wow.
No, but you don't want to be busting out. Like a manly or a girly-looking Diablo with his really gruff voice. And
I think that you could really go with those characters like Jaina and give a similarly named character from that universe. So I know my Warcraft 3 people are going to freak out because he has different talents than Jaina. But Kel'Thuzad is an ice mage. And he's the Lich. He's got totally different skills, but I would love to see him be playable. I'd also like to see him just be a character.
That's what I was going to say. It's like the only reason I have to disagree with that is because I want to play as Kel'Thuzad. So
Kel'Thuzad.
He's cool. I agree with you, and so it'll be interesting to see what they do. I'm all for making Jaina, Thrall, and Muradin and all those have gender swaps. I'm just curious, will they just create a random name for them, or will they try to find somebody in the Warcraft universe? Because really, I mean, it's like there's no one who's truly equivalent to Jaina. There's no one who's truly equivalent to Muradin. That's of the opposite gender.
I already have my opinion. What would be the most disgusting gender swap?
Stitches.
Well, that's a great.
Yeah. All right, so Bentley already won that one.
I was thinking Asmodan.
Ooh, Asmodan too.
Well, okay. Well, I mean,
Asmaretta.
Because if Diablo can be girl and boy, I guess the other Lords of Sin can be girl and boy.
What would Abathur be? A very similar looking
I just can't see Abathur changing.
Does Abathur have a gender?
I don't think he does. I don't think he does. But the Queen of Blades wouldn't be Queen of Blades.
He just poops out locusts. He's asexual.
Yeah, the King of Blades, that's not the same.
It's just not the same. It's not Kerrigan. So that's why I'm thinking they're just going to change the generic characters. They'll get a Sergeant Hammer. Maybe they'll change it to like, I don't know, Corporal
Hammer.
Hammer or something. I don't know. But,
Colonel Mustard.
yeah, just things like that. Taking those generic characters and giving them the gender swap. Because really, I mean, it's why play a male Jaina? It's like I'm playing Jaina because Jaina Proudmoore's a badass.
Yeah, that's true. What functionality will this bring?
It won't bring any, but it's cool.
I think it's just a variance because I mean, it's like I don't want to sound sexist or anything, but I tend to like playing male characters. I know Aaron does definitely because I've never seen him play a female character in any game.
You mean when I play? You mean like MMOs?
Like MMOs or just
yeah,
regular RPGs.
I build characters around what I am.
Yeah.
I've had like female alt characters, but my main characters were always
exactly.
guys.
So it's like I feel like that'll just give you the variety in some of those characters that you might want. And I'm sure a lot of girls would just like to, play a female version of a character like that because, obviously video games.
This is where we need Michaela's expertise.
And she's not here to get it. How unreliable.
Right? She's at a funeral.
Wow.
God. How dare she?
Right?
Selfish.
God.
Okay, so what else we got news-wise? We got the fact that they will not be revamping supports. There was a little bit of talk for a little while there that they'll, go back into supports and change them because, there's such a limited support pool right now. Sure, there's only 7 supports out there anyways.
Yeah.
And only 3 of them are viable in competitive play. And then there's the other 2, Tyrande and Tassadar, who get a lot of competitive play, but because they can be played like assassins.
Yeah.
So what they had said is there will not be a revamp of supports. They're merely looking to fix it so that Tyrande and Tassadar can be solo queue supports. Because right now, if you play Tassadar as the only support on your team, you have to have an incredibly good team, otherwise you will lose because you'll be facing against somebody who has burst healing and things like that.
I was in one of my placement games, and somebody first picked Tassadar, so I said, okay, who's playing Rhaegar?
Yeah, or who's playing a support.
And we didn't have one. And he was like, no, nobody else go healer. Tassadar is the number 1 support in mines. And I was like, that may be true.
Very bold.
And he did a great job of solo laning because Tassadar has really great escape.
And push.
But we went down into those mines, and they had a healer, and we didn't. And it was just bad.
I think I might have been in that game with you.
I don't know.
Because I remember having a similar issue. It's like either our support wouldn't show up or our only support was somebody who didn't have the ability to put out the numbers like these other, the top 3 supports, which are Uther, Malfurion, and Rhaegar. So...
But as a player of those 2 heroes, I'm a little worried when they say that they're going to do some revamping of their skills. Is this going to be detrimental where, they're going to have to do a reset on Heroes Fire for their talents? Because
will the owl no longer be able to pentakill immediately?
I would hope that they would just add little things that would put heal them.
Kind of buff their numbers.
So maybe the owl, if it goes through an ally, it would heal them.
Okay.
Right? I mean, little things like that.
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't know. That's their job to figure it out. But I would hope it's not detrimental.
I have to fully agree with you. I love the way these 2 people play.
Exactly.
And I love playing them and over again because I do like their kit. So hopefully they change it so that it'll be something that's more beneficial to them as support players, not beneficial to, I don't know what the right word to say would be, to fixing the game or whatever, if you will. I think that's all the really exciting news we have. Of course, as we said earlier, we're going to talk about esports, but that's going to be after Free Week.
Okay.
So, somebody read off the Free Week.
Sure. We've got Gazlo, Lily, Sergeant Hammer, Kerrigan, Rhaegar, Leoric, and ETC.
And I believe this is the first time Leoric's on Free Week.
Is it?
I think it's the second time.
Is it the second time?
Because I think right when he launched, either the week after that, he was on Free Week. Because you were playing as him, and you don't own him, right?
No, I do own him.
Oh, you do own him. Oh, okay. Well, then, I don't know then. Is it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think there's one notable absence here that we do need to mention. We are on the 3rd week of no Abathur. It's very depressing.
Hey, I don't even care. They had a free Abathur week, and it was a hellscape.
And we lived to see it.
It was rough.
We lived through it. Is the main thing.
But what is your pick for this week, guys?
Yeah. What's your team, Aaron?
All right. Guess which one I have. Guess what one character I have.
I bet you leave out Gazlo and Rhaegar.
Bentley.
Is Lily in your team?
Oh my god.
Sergeant Hammer.
Obviously,
Hammer's his number 1 pick.
I picked Gazlo. I went Gazlo, Kerrigan, Leoric, Rhaegar, and ETC.
Wow.
I know. Okay. Ambitious.
I think we all have the same team.
I'm going to deviate from Aaron. So
Okay.
Well, fire away then.
Yeah.
So you're the same as Aaron then. That's
Yeah, mine is Gazlowe, Leoric, Rhaegar, Kerrigan, and ETC, dude.
all right. I'm going separate here. I'm putting Leoric as a single tank.
Wow.
No ETC.
Who'd you throw in? Hammer?
What I'm going to do Gazlowe, Rhaegar, Leoric, Hammer, and Kerrigan.
Okay, so you think ETC is just useless?
I don't like ETC's kit anymore.
Okay.
I think he's too easy to dodge, too easy to get out of, and
I
in order to
think-
make him viable, it makes him weaker.
I've seen
build-wise.
some good ETCs lately.
But you can say that about any character. You're a good Brightwing, despite the fact that Brightwing is relative trash.
Oh my gosh! In one of my ranged
Relative.
games, I picked Brightwing right away, and I was like,
Uh-oh.
all right, definitely going Brightwing on this. Where Sky Temple, Brightwing has high mobility, great heals. They were like, Brightwing is the worst healer in the game.
Yeah.
I was like, no.
No, you're
No?
wrong. A lot of this might be coming from some PTSD that I have about a Hammer I played against a couple of days back. You might have been in that game with me, though. It was a Mines game.
Yeah.
And we were playing against a Hammer, and she just ruined my life in lane. And I think I just realized, like, wow, Hammer is incredibly good on Mines.
I mean, a good hammer is scary, man.
A good hammer is
'Cause
scary.
You feel like you're doing nothing in lane, and you can't even poke out. I mean, I was a Murden versus a good hammer once. I just had to stay back. I mean, I had full health the whole time, but I couldn't do anything. I mean, her kit is pretty impressive, especially
Yeah.
the recent changes as well.
But, you know, looking at this list, you have to think, what's the one range champion on this list? There's two, granted, but Lily doesn't do damage. Hammer's the only other one. And in order to win a game, you can't win a game with an all-melee team.
That's true. This is an all melee team we have here. But honestly, with the changes with Kerrigan, dude, and I've seen some insane Kerrigans lately. Her damage is insane. And then
Yeah.
you know, a good Gazlowe, like what Aaron plays mostly, that is top tier damage as well.
Can be pretty
And
good.
he's
No, you're
basically a ranged
And
hero.
particularly, again, in Mines.
Yeah.
People always underestimate Gazlowe, if played correctly, should be getting the biggest two camps alone at the same time.
He can, absolutely.
And so how you do it, just for Gazlowe players, you throw down your turret on the center, then you go over, throw down a turret on the left, and I'm talking about the two biggest camps, which are in the center of the mines. So you put a turret within range of both of them. At 2 seconds until they spawn, you throw down your bomb on
On one
the
camp.
far camp while you engage the other camp with
Okay.
your laser, and then you mount up, go around, and collect everything.
Okay. That's
Wow.
good to know.
That's
So,
a good
hey,
combo,
there you go.
though.
Free week Gazlowe players. If you hit Mines, that's how you take two camps at once.
And how you time it, again, throw down your time bomb, wait a second, then throw down your ult.
Right.
It's very important, or else everyone's going to hate you.
And he is talking about the grab bomb ult, not the other one.
The other ult is
one's
passive,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
You probably shouldn't take it.
Yeah.
But the reason I go with this team, I think Lily's pretty weak right now. I know we've been seeing a lot of her
Yeah.
reemerge, but when you put her up against Rhaegar's just 10 times the support that Lily is, especially right now. ETC, I just don't like them. I hate it when they have a 2 specialist week, because I just feel like specialists are very niche
Yeah.
players.
That's interesting that you'd say that after you just watched
Oh, yeah,
these esports games where there was
There
two
was a-
or three
Okay.
specialists.
Three specialist team.
And how did they do?
Well, they did well,
They
but
lost.
not well enough.
They
I guess.
lost. When you put Abathur and Murky on the same team, you're gonna lose. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
Except
it's-
maybe Tempo Storm. No, and I don't know. It's just I feel like support players are just so niche in their play style that it takes a certain kind of player to play them. And so when you put 2 supports in the free week, it's kind of giving a chance for more supports to end up on your team. And I don't want free week. I don't want free week players playing a lot of support specialists on my team.
Yeah.
I'm perfectly okay with there being one, but you need
You were saying supports. You meant specialists.
specialist. Yes, I'm sorry. That's exactly what I meant. And I don't know. I feel like it's a better team to include the hammer in there instead of the Lily or the ETC, just because it gives you that extra range damage that you really do need, especially on some maps and some fights. If you're putting up a front line of Kerrigan and Leoric, because of course you don't. The way Aaron plays Gazlowe, he's never in the front line, and that's the
Yeah.
way it should be
Yeah.
because Gazlowe is so weak and his auto attacks are wimpy.
Pretty much worthless.
Yeah. So you put Kerrigan and Leoric up there in front with the Rhaegar. You're body blocking with 3 people, and you let Gazlo run around throwing down his turrets as well as Hammer just to sit still.
Okay.
How can you argue with that?
Yeah.
You know, you let a Hammer, sit there unharassed. You're gonna win every team fight. I don't care who you are. She's just that good.
She's pretty good. She's pretty good. But
She's
a bad one is
a bad one is terrible, especially when I'm playing her. So that's just my thoughts. I could see this being a very good Mines team. Outside of that, I don't see this team winning any other map.
I would say Garden of Terror, and if ETC goes like, of course, Mosh Pit, and I think I could see some pretty intense gameplays with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair
I
enough.
could see them holding temples well.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, yeah, I can agree with you there. They can fight on the temples. I just don't think they could fight to gain control of a temple. This is very much a defensive team. So there's maps where you need the defense or the quick push or something like that would be better. And that's why I'm saying, it's maybe Dragonshire would be good too.
But you also need sustain with Dragonshire, and that's a
kinda
little
lacking
scary
on this
when
team, right?
yeah.
All right, so an interesting free week. Again, I don't like it, but I don't think I've ever liked a free week except the one that was with Abathur.
I don't know what a free week would have to do to make Billy like it.
All warriors.
All of the champions are
all
free.
warriors.
Everyone's
All warriors.
free for a week.
If I could get
It's
a
a pretty
team,
decent free week.
if I could
Yeah,
get a
it's
team
alright.
of Tyrael,
They're pretty
Arthas, if I could get a team of Tyrael, Arthas, Stitches, Leoric, and Muradin,
There you go.
I'd be happy.
GG.
That's terrifying. Did you say Uther?
No.
Who's your
All
support?
warriors.
All warriors.
All warriors.
There's no support.
You don't need a
You
support.
need an Uther in there.
You don't
toss
need
him in
you
there.
don't need a support if
He's
you're
basically a
unkillable.
warrior. He's just an
He is
awesome.
basically. You're right.
Yeah.
And I think that is one of the reasons we've seen an emergence of Uther recently is because he does provide kind of like that off-tank warrior, stand in the way presence. Because sure, Rhaegar, he's a melee support, and people like Asmodin or Gazlo or whatever, it's like they can get a little beefy, but they're not true damage takers.
Yeah.
But Uther provides the ability to be another brick wall in the way for when you're trying to protect your range guys, and especially if you're playing, a comp of like a Song of Ice and Fire with Gazlo, or not Gazlo, Jaina and Kael'thas.
Yeah.
You need people to stand in the way to protect them, and
the way you
he's
play,
one of the best ways to do that.
The way you play against an Uther is very different than what you would play against other
Any
supports.
other support, yeah.
And that's why he's he sticks out.
And in case you guys are wondering what that is, and most times you want to focus the support down really quickly because then that gets rid of their sustainability. When you're playing against an Uther, you completely ignore him.
You'll be wasting mana and time if you are wasting him on.
Exactly.
That, and then he's going to be alive and fully healed.
That's why you ignore him. You let him be one of the last ones to die because you just kill everyone that he's trying to support there. So fun enough. But I think it's time to move on to the really important stuff.
Yeah.
And that is, of course, esports.
Yeah, dude. Speaking of Uther, we saw him banned a lot.
We did. Saw him banned a lot. We saw a lot of Zeratul bans. Of course, this past weekend, if you guys weren't
Almost
keeping
every
notes,
game was a Zeratul ban.
there were a lot of games he got through.
There's
Zagara.
Zagara was frequently played. This past weekend was the NA Open, the very last NA Open, in order to solidify who's going to go to the Americas Championship. Of course, taking the Triple Crown was Tempo Storm. They won all 3 Opens. I don't think that really was a surprise at all. I don't think they lost a single map.
Yeah, dude.
All tournament long.
They were on point.
If I remember correctly, between all 3 Opens, they lost 1 map.
Yeah.
And that was last Open against Cloud9. No surprise, who's easily the second best team in a... they used to be known as Cloud9 Maelstrom, but I believe they're just called Cloud9 now because there used to also be a Cloud9 Vortex.
Yeah.
But Cloud9 Vortex... or Cloud9 dropped the Vortex team because they weren't performing up to standards, and they're like, well, Cloud9 Maelstrom's the number 1 team, number 2 team. We don't need a second Heroes of the Storm team. So they got rid of Vortex. They're just now Cloud9. So that was, the top 1 and 2 teams, of course. And then Cognitive Gaming got third place, I'm sorry. But the real surprise here was Murloc Geniuses.
That's what I was about to say.
Who showed up out of nowhere.
Yep.
They were previously a sponsored team, but their sponsors fell under, actually just stopped existing as a company. And so they were already, qualified for the tournament for the top 8. They went on and played under the name of Murloc Geniuses and got 4th place, meaning they qualified for the championship.
And I mean, they lost with Tempo Storm, right?
They lost on the top side of the bracket. They lost against Tempo Storm, and then
in the bottom side.
And then they went to the bottom side and lost to Cognitive Gaming, putting them in 4th place.
So I mean, those are pretty heavy teams to lose against, but
honestly, I wouldn't feel bad about losing to those teams. Those are are easily the top 3 American teams. Any chance to get some education out of them. They were the team though that played 3 specialists, and one of them was a Murloc named Murky, who is so annoying to play against. But I believe their team, or the 3 specialists were who was it? It was Abathur, Murky, and was it Sylvanas?
Yeah, I think so.
I believe so.
But then I think most...
Or was it Asmodin? It might have been... It was Asmodin, because it was on First Hollow.
And we saw a lot of comps with Zagara and Azebo, and that's already 2 specialists already as well in the team. You know what I mean?
I think when you take the top 2, and easily Nazeebo and Zagara are the top 2 specialists in the game right now. If you're able to get both of those on your team, that's going to provide you a lot of control on the map, a lot of ability to deal a lot of damage, because both Nazeebo and Zagara can really put out the numbers. I think almost every game I play as Zagara, if I'm not playing with a competent assassin, I'm going to be top damage in both categories easily.
It's hard to play against them. It's almost a little bit unfair because you get things like that little Hydralisk.
Yeah.
And then it's following you. If you don't run away, you're going to take a ton of damage for a long time.
Absolutely.
Or you can try and kill it and resulting in taking a lot of damage. So there's not really a lot of counterplay to that. Same with Nazeebo. There's, 5 little spiders attacking you. You know, you can outrun them, but
you can try to get closer to him, but then he'll just end up backing off enough in order to throw off his zombie wall, throw up his spiders, throw out his frogs. And same with Zagara. It's hard to close the gap against those champions, and that's what makes them so hard to play against, and why they're top tier picks right now, and why we saw them frequently banned too against good players.
So to my knowledge, is the Monk banned from competitive play right now?
I don't think he was allowed to be played this past weekend, just because he had freshly come out. And besides, I don't foresee a lot of teams taking him anyways.
Yeah.
He's still relatively new to the game. They probably haven't had a lot of time to scrim with him and practice with him on your team. And honestly, I'm not a fan of Monk's ultimates. Now that I've played with him for a week, the stasis one especially,
isn't that weird?
It's I really don't like it, because it's not a saving ult. It's unless you're in a team fight, because you think about it, Rhaegar's ultimate, in the middle of a team fight, it pretty much is the same effect as Monk's ult. But if you're trying to escape,
and you end up
Rhaegar's ult is a lot better than Monk's, because Monk puts you in that stasis where you freeze in place anyways, giving a chance for their team to surround you and kill you the second you come out of it.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't really see a lot of the 7 fist or whatever it's called.
And that's why I usually go with 7-sided strike, just because it's a great opportunity to kind of soften up those tanky, warriors in the beginning of the team fight. But it's risky because you're forced to dash into the middle of the fight.
I feel like the Monk is one of those champions where he's got a lot of learning, and you have to dedicate a lot of time, like Gazlo, to dedicate a lot of time to even understand how to do him right.
Right.
And it's so early that a lot of people haven't done that. They're just playing their 3rd or 4th or 5th game with him.
Uh-huh.
And they're thinking, all right, I've tried him. I know how he works. I can play ranked now. And you don't really know how he works. You haven't tried all his talents. He's never been a threat.
He's really only a support if you have a really strong melee team.
Yeah.
Because if you're a ranged team with only the Monk as a support, you're not going to get heals as much unless you're right next to him, and that's a little too close.
It's harder for him to dash around. So, I don't even know if he was banned from being played in the open. And even if he wasn't, I didn't see him in a single game anyways, and I can't blame any professional team for doing that. I do have a little nice page of notes here, though, about the NA Open, and I'd like to go through them if you would.
Yeah.
My personal MVP of the entire tournament was Jaximus. He plays for Cognitive Gaming. His play on melee assassins was absurd. It made me want to pick up Kerrigan and try Kerrigan again, now especially with the changes, because they showed with those changes she is back to being a top pick, and watching Jaximus play was just like a work of art. So that'll be a lot of fun. The Abathur Locust build is back because of the changes that they've made. Saw a lot of that getting pushed around, especially on maps that were, rather large. It gave Abathur the ability to just teleport up to a lane that nobody else was in, and his Locust would drop and just push the lane. KT is still a top pick, which last week I think we were theorizing that he wouldn't be anymore.
I was surprised.
Yeah, because of those changes, but obviously they know something we don't because KT was doing incredibly well.
He's still strong, but there's just a new curve to him, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing, one of the things that surprised me a lot, though, was the Jaina Ring of Frost pickup. A lot of teams were going more for the Ring of Frost than for the Water Elemental. I don't know if this is to say the Water Elemental was nerfed a lot or Ring of Frost was buffed a lot, but apparently in my opinion, just the CC that Ring of Frost would give you, as well as the damage on top of that CC, was absurd.
And that's a testament to how important the immediate reflexive damage is that they took away from Water Elemental. They took away that immediate damage. They took away that immediate slow.
Right.
And if you're not able to immediately slow them, if you have to wait for him to pop up and then take that, 3/4 of a second to throw out an attack and get them, they're already pretty far away at that point.
Absolutely. Entomb, I saw was taken quite a bit. The first kind of few times I saw professional teams playing Leoric, there was a lot more focus on March of the Black King. But Entomb got picked up, and that's because there was great synergy with Nazeevu's Ravenous Spirit.
Yeah, dude.
Because you could just drop that Ravenous Spirit right on top of a team and trapped in Entomb. It was going to be a 5-man kill.
What a great comp.
It was a great combo.
Yeah. I want to see, because I've been the support on the outside of the tomb, looking at my teammate thinking, sorry, buddy.
It's like,
You're
bye.
stuck.
See ya.
I want to heal you, but you're in there. I want to see Diablo get a talent to pick up your ally and throw him over a wall.
I'm thinking Medic will have something similar to that, because Medic does have that arm attachment, so I could see there being a grab of, almost like a
or they just add in the priest from World of Warcraft, Anduin Wrynn. Anduin Wrynn comes in and has life grab.
Leap of Faith. I love that talent so much. If you guys went back to the past two tournaments, you saw the three main tanks being Anubarak, Muradin, and Johanna. But this patch, Muradin was pretty much non-existent.
I know, dude. I was sad.
And I think a lot of that is attributed to Leoric's rise. Leoric is a great counter, as you have said.
Yep.
Muradin almost always takes Avatar in these pro games. But Leoric has the perfect answer to that with his 30% drain. Well, it's 25% base, but a lot of people do take that increased 30%. So he was hardly used, which was sad for me. I know it's sad for Bentley because he's one of our favorite champions.
It was basically Johanna and Leoric, dude. The whole competition.
Time. Yeah. It was crazy.
Johanna's awesome.
Johanna is awesome. The one game, though, if you have not watched it at all, the one game I would recommend going to watch was the first game of the Grand Finals. It was Dragonshire Tempo Storm versus Cloud9, and it was nuts. The game went on for 30 minutes. I had to keep texting Aaron, and it's like, okay, I'll come pick you up soon. Because we were going to go out for dinner, but the game just kept going on and on. I believe Tempo Storm did not once get a dragon, but they won the game.
That's
how crazy is that? Can you think of any other map where you can completely ignore the objective and still win?
No.
Now, did they respond to the dragon?
What they would end up doing, honestly, is like, okay, the dragon would come down, they'd kill the dragon so fast, and then go get a fort themselves. It's like the dragon wouldn't even get a fort, and they would end up with a fort out of it. It was crazy. And I don't think it was a testament to the map. I think it was just a testament to Tempo Storm's skill.
Yep.
It was crazy. Because I kept expecting them to lose, and then they didn't.
Do you remember what team roughly they were played at?
I honestly don't.
Because I'm wondering if there was an Abathur on that map, and that
I don't think there was,
okay.
But I wouldn't be surprised if there was too. No, I think it was just the standard, top 10 type of picks. Rhaegar, Uther, Jaina, KT, Leoric, Johanna, Sylvanas. Those kind of champions. And it was just a great game to watch. I know I spoiled it for you, but it was the skill and displayed in that game. It was great. It was wonderful to watch. And I know I'm a big Tempo Storm fan, and I even tweeted it out some. But and I mean it was amazing.
What game were we watching where the Zeratul void prisoned the Malfurion who had like a sliver of health left?
That was
the
three specialist game.
They pushed everybody back, and Malfurion was like, "Oh God, I'm gonna die!" And he was shielded by somebody, and then just kind of walked away. Totally
that,
fine.
That was the game of the 3 specialists.
Oh, was it really?
And he was against the 3 specialists. And what it was specifically, like, Malfurion, if you didn't see it, Malfurion had, like, literally 50 health.
Less than 50
if that. And the Zeratul that was on Malfurion's team did throw a Void Prison down on top of him. And they managed to get rid of everybody on the other team, push him off or whatever, except the Murky. Murky was left to kill this Malfurion, and I'm like, oh, he's got him. Like, how can you not get him? But Malfurion managed to heal himself, put a shield on himself, and escape. And the time it took Zeratul and the tank, I think it was a Johanna, to kill that Murky. It was absurd.
That makes me think, why would I ever take the level 20 talent where you can no longer target allies with it?
Oh, I don't think you ever should. I think Zeratul gets Bolts of the Storm or something like that you want to take, because that just gives you insane mobility or something like that.
I forget what he gets.
Or he might get Rewind. I can't remember.
I think he gets both.
I can't remember if he has Rewind or not.
Even if he gets Rewind, that's still 2 teleports.
Yeah. So
I'm pretty sure he gets Rewind now that you mention it.
Right. So that kind of concludes our meta discussion, but I want to talk about a little bit more concrete calendar type details. Coming up is is PAX Prime, which the grand finals, or just the tournament period of MGA, which is Masters Gaming Arena. It's going to be the first big international tournament to happen for Heroes of the Storm, and I'm really excited because this will be a time for these top teams in every region to come against each other and play against each other and see what happens.
Oh man, it sounds exciting already. Just because all the different regions have different metas that they play and that are successful, and there's nothing wrong about that, but when we see them all clash together, it's going to be survival of the fittest.
You were talking about Nazebo earlier.
Yeah, and because I heard that I believe China? in the
China?
Asian servers, Nazebo's spiders is a huge strategy that people use, and I've been seeing a lot of toads over here myself. So I mean, I don't know.
And now toads explode into spiders.
Yeah, see, so I think Blizzard's looking at it.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Of course, the quick schedule, there are, let me do the math on this real quick, 8 teams. And for the first round, Tempo Storm will go against Cognitive Gaming. I think everybody in the world can pretty much assume how that's going to go because we've already seen these games played before, obviously with Tempo Storm coming out on top. E-Star, which I believe is a European team, is going to be playing against Cloud9. MVP Black, which is the top Korean team right now, will go against VP Hots, who also, I think, comes from Europe. Or they might be one of the Southeast Asia teams. And then the Team Liquid, obviously the number 1 team over in Europe right now, will be going against MyR, which is either another European team or the Chinese team. It's some split up like that. You can also just go to the MGA website. You can also look it up on ESL. I believe Blizzard has a link to it too. There's plenty of resources to find it. Just search Masters Gaming Arena Heroes of the Storm Grand Finals. It'll pop up with PAX, and you get to look and see the schedule for it. I'm excited. I can't wait to watch it. I really want to see how these teams compete against each other, because it's going to be the first time these different metas are coming back, because it's like we don't see Lily or Brightwing anymore over here in America, but in China Brightwing is huge. Brightwing is like number 1, considered the number 1 support.
People underestimate Polymorph so much.
Well, it's just it just goes to show it's like all these different regions just have different play styles that lend themselves to different champions being stronger. So it's going to be really exciting to see. It's like who's going to come out. It's like is Southeast Asia going to bust out Chin as their main tank? Is Korea going to be pulling out the Raynor every single game?
Asia's going to bring the pandas.
I did not mean to go that route, but yes, you're right.
It'd be interesting to see after the World Championship, whoever won the championship, that meta will become the new meta.
Well, and we do see that a lot with Korea in other games, or Korea
like
with Korea with StarCraft and League of Legends, China with Dota. They're kind of the nations that subscribe to the meta. So it's like, is this going to be a chance for America to step up and provide a meta to the world, or is this going to be European teams stepping up and providing a meta to the world? I'm also interested to see if other MOBA feels from the regions are going to pop up and be the same as they are in Heroes of the Storm. What I'm thinking specifically is like Europe is in League of Legends, and I believe also in Dota, is renowned for their mid laners.
Okay.
Mid laners tend to be their strongest suit. You look at Xpeke, Froggen, Power of Evil, and I'm only listing League of Legends because that's the other game I follow. I don't know Dota too well. But you see those people, popping up as the main players. And then you come to America and you see, the assassin players, or the, auto attack assassin players, ADC specifically in League of Legends, popping up as the strong suit. China has a lot of really strong top laner kind of things. Yeah. It's like, are we going to see reflections of that in this game? Is China going to bring the best tanks? Is America going to bring the best ranged assassins while Europe brings the best melee assassins? It's like, I'm really curious to see if certain roles are going to stand out to certain regions.
Yeah.
That's one thing that just really excites me because I think it's fun to have your region known for one type of player. And I just can't wait.
It's crazy, and the game hasn't even been out for a year. Like that's
right.
Big things are happening already.
Big things are happening already. Some other cleanup real quick with this. The European Championship teams have every spot is filled except the 2 from the September Open, which will be happening very soon. We got Roccat, Virtus Pro, Navi, who of course in their first Open upset Team Liquid, but Team Liquid did end up qualifying in the next one, so they take the next spot. Gamers 2, and then the last one, which is just the best name out of all of these, Bob ? It's not the actual symbol. It's the written word out ? Bob ?
I think they're gonna go as Bob.
What I think their case is they just haven't picked up a sponsor yet, so that's just kind of, it's like that's their version of Murloc Geniuses. Yeah, it's kind of the placeholder until they get some championship. Of course, the last 2 spots will be identified by the September Open, which will be happening in September. So we'll update you with exact dates on that because I failed to look that up beforehand. And then we got the Americas Championship. So interestingly enough, European Championship is all European teams, but in the Americas Championship they go outside of NA. They're gonna the teams that they have in there, and this is completely set, is Tempo Storm, Cloud9, Cognitive Gaming, Complexity Gaming, and Murloc Geniuses, all from North America. And then we got who is going to be the Latin American champion, which has not been decided yet. And then there's Relics, who's from the Southeast Asia team, so all those little islands out there that aren't quite Taiwan, China, Japan, those places. That's going to be the Southeast Asia champion, and then Immunity White, who comes from the Australian New Zealand league that's out there. So all of these teams are going to be playing against each other in order to determine who gets that Road to BlizzCon spot, along with the EU Championship team. I believe we get 3 from the Americas, 2 from EU, and then 1 from all the other regions.
Interesting.
So yeah, and of course the reason it's like people are, oh, why does America get so many? It's because we are including the Latin American champion, we are including the Southeast Asian teams, we are including the Australian New Zealand
inclusive
team. We're including more people into our championship game, which is why we're getting more invites. We're including more variety, I should say. So that'll be fun. I'm excited. I can't wait to see how this plays out. That's happening September 19th and 20th in Las Vegas. There are tickets still open, and if you go, invite me because I want to go with you. You just have to pay for it. That concludes it. Yeah, exactly. That concludes it with esports, and I know I kind of talked a lot there.
No, dude, that was fine. That was good, though. I think that was a lot of useful information.
Well, luckily, this next section is going to be really fast.
And really easy.
Because it's time for map stats. And it's over. And we don't that was great. Well, we were going to do Battlefield of Eternity because it's the only map, besides Infernal Shrines, which we need a little bit of time to play. It's the only map that we haven't done yet, and it's removed.
They removed it, so we didn't see any reason to even talk about it.
Yeah, we're going to wait until it comes back, make sure, because there was a recent change. We want to make sure that there were no more changes. If you're curious, typically they spawn at 1:45, and there's about 1 minute and 45 seconds in between them. But we'll break it down in a later episode, which leads us into Watch Us Climb.
Yeah, well, we got to kind of rename that one too a little bit this week, don't we?
Watch us stagnate in our placement roles.
Yeah.
Bentley was talking about earlier before we started the stream how there have been a lot of complaints, and do you want to just break that down a little bit more?
So, I've just been reading a lot of the forums lately, on Reddit, even just Blizzard forums, and they were saying that the placement games are full of crap. This gentleman on Twitter complained to Dustin Browder. he went 16-4 in his placement matches, and he got ranked 50. Okay, and I mean
that's absurd.
And that, I mean, disregard it's basically going off the MMR. But if you win 16 games in a row and lose 4, you shouldn't be ranked 50.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I mean,
you said Browder responded to him.
Yeah,
right?
and Browder responded. And he said, "We're looking into it. There's a bunch of other people who have a similar problem. So they're looking into it. I'm hoping an MMR reset.
A true MMR reset would be good. It would kind of suck to have to play 20 placement games again.
That was what my understanding was about this reset.
And that's what I thought it was going to be as well. But it turns out, it doesn't matter how many games you win or lose. It's like, well, you're saying there was another guy who went 3-17 in his placement games, and he got ranked 10.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me?
Exactly.
Like, come on.
And I think prior to the reset, he was like ranked 5, so he was up there and he climbed hard.
Yeah.
But
dropped 5 spots. Oh no.
It's just ridiculous. And I've also heard that people who have gotten done with the placement matches did really well. Got to like rank 5, rank 7, one of those single digit ranks.
Yeah.
Each game they've been winning 1 point. They've been going up 1 point, and they've been screenshots all over Reddit about they've been getting 1 point after a victory, and it doesn't matter how detrimental the victory is because they've been just getting 1 point.
That's absurd.
So there's some fixes to be had here.
And I mean, the only reason I'm not going to get too angry about it is because I know it is Blizzard.
Yeah.
Blizzard will provide a fix. It may take a little bit of time, but Aaron's going to answer his phone, so he's going to ignore us for a little bit now, it would seem. Bye, Aaron. No, I'm not too worried about Blizzard because they will handle it. And we are technically still in preseason. It's not like Season 1 has even truly began.
That's true.
So I'll give them some leeway. Of course, I want to be able to climb. But if I'm only, if I'm going to win, what was I saying?
Yeah, what's your rank right now?
I'm 11-5 right now in placement games. And if I win out, so if I win my last 4 games and end up 15-5, and I get placed back at rank 24, I'm going to be mad.
Well, and I guess I will bet your money right now that you will be less than 24.
Maybe, do you mean less like 25, 26?
Yep.
Or do you mean, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, if that happens.
And that's what a lot of people have been saying, that your current rank, whatever the placement is, those losses are a lot more detrimental than the wins that you're getting.
And that'll be really disturbing. It makes me almost just not want to go home and play Heroes now.
That's what people have been saying.
And it's kind of sad. It's like it makes me want to just go back to Quick Match. And there's nothing wrong with Quick Match. I'll never dish on it. But to me, I like to play games to be competitive. That's why, when I play online, I play against other people. I want to play Hero League. And if I'm not getting anything out of Hero League, what's the point?
Yeah.
So what's your win-loss rate?
11-5 right now.
That's great.
Yeah. I've been doing good.
I am at a solid 5-5.
All right.
I'm just down the middle, man.
We played 3 games last night?
Yeah.
Won 2 pretty easily.
That means we've all lost 5 games. I've won 7 games.
All right.
Nice.
So, we're at least breaking even, if not doing a little bit better than that.
Yep.
Are there any champions you guys have been focusing?
I've been kind of taking note with the esports, and I think as you saw with the couple of the matches, I played like Zagara on Blackheart's Bay.
Absolutely.
And then, we demolished that game, man.
What, I played as Vala.
You were Vala. And you were max siege damage and
hero
damage and EXP.
Yeah.
And
we had a
games.
Gazlo on our team, too. That team was
and a Leoric.
A great team.
Yeah, we had a
Leoric, and then a Rhaegar, I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah. Oh, we went nuts against the other team.
I've been focusing on Johanna.
Nice.
That's always a great
Which
pick.
is strange because I don't really play warriors, but I've been being forced into it, and I'm like, well, I guess I can play Johanna, and then it always happens where the other team gets her, and I don't really have another tank. But I won a couple games as Arthas, just kind of thinking, well, I can at least play Arthas decent.
Well, and that's the funny thing. You say you're being forced into tank roles. I've played a lot of assassin.
Yeah, that's
interesting.
Yeah, which I texted Aaron last night about our win losses, and that the 2 wins I was playing an assassin, and he didn't believe it really.
That's hilarious because I think at the first episode we were saying that I said that supports are the least heroes that I play, and I've been playing a ton of Monk.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny. We're all kind of out of our comfort zones, but we're winning.
Yeah.
And it cracks me up so much, So really, just let us know how it's going with you in placement games. Email us, niceguysnetwork@gmail.com. Comment on our Facebook page, tweet us, podcast_heroes.
What was that thing about the win a PC that we were going to put
Oh,
in the
yeah.
description?
Okay, so a quick plug right before we close this out.
Yeah.
With the MGA, so the Masters Gaming Arena, Team Liquid is putting on a competition. It's kind of a bracketology thing, just like March Madness, if you're into that or whatever. If you pick the best bracket out of everybody, then they're going to reward you with a PC. We are going to put down a link in our comments below in order to let you take a look at that. Try to go up against me because I'm going to win this.
Upgrade your hero's experience.
Yeah,
a lot of people are going to have the same bracket, I bet.
And then they'll have tiebreakers, things like that. So, it's, but you have to think of all the possibilities. What, there's 8 teams out there, and, that's so many games that can go so many different ways. It'll be interesting to see. So, I'm excited. I'm going to give it a try. Give it a try yourself. Let us know if you win, and then credit us for your win, because obviously all of our wealth of experience will be the reason why you did win.
Of course.
Right. But other than that, I think that's about it for this week.
Billy, why don't you take us out?
Yeah,
I'm
never
terrible
take
at
us
this.
out.
I don't even remember what our
Oh my
closing
god,
sign is.
you're so
It's
terrible.
what is it?
18 episodes, guys.
It's like, thanks for listening to Podcast Heroes, where we podcast about heroes. Right? I got it right, didn't I?
You got it.
Yep.